What is a protocol? Protocol is a set of rules. Protocol is a set of rules. If two parties want to communicate with each other, if two applications want to talk to each other, they have to obey set of rules. Now, both the parties are trying to agree a set of rules which they want to obey while communicating. Let us say, when I am taking a class, when I speak, you will listen. When you are asking, I will listen. Now, it is the rule what we are following to take a class. If both of us are trying to talk at the same time, now the communication will not happen. So, it's a set of guidelines or set of rules which both the parties are agreeing to obey while communicating. So, on the network, if two systems want to communicate, then they need to obey a set of rules. That set of rules are nothing but a protocol. So, what is a protocol? It is a set of rules which both the parties are trying to agree or obey while communicating over the network. There are different types of protocols we have, like HTTP, then we have TCP, we have IP, we have SMTP. Like this, there are different types of protocols we have. FTP, generally popular ones are HTTP, SMTP, FTP, then TCP IP. These are the very popular protocols. Okay. Now, if both the parties are agreed for a rule, that is called a protocol. Now, the popular protocol what we have is a HTTP protocol. The popular one is HTTP protocol, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Initially, they used to transfer the text format of data. Right, boss? Okay. Now look at this format. So, in the HTTP protocol, there are two things which we need to understand. One is URL, other one is port. One is the URL, other one is the port, third one is the format of the data which they want to exchange. URL, port number, and the format of the data. Now look at this. First, let me give you port number data. Now, these two systems are trying to communicate with each other. Now, we know that our system is multiprocessor, right? Now, on your system, multiple tasks are running. Every task that runs on your system will be running on a particular port. Port is the machine on which it is running. Internally, anything that happens will be running on a particular port, multiprocessor. Will be running on a particular processor, particular port number. Now, let us say this system is trying to communicate with this system. Suppose I have a functionality. I have installed Oracle. Oracle was running on a port number, let us say 20. Then, if they want to transfer the data to third party, now the functionality that is running on port number 20, if they want to talk to the another system, the other system also will receive this on the same port number called 20. Now, if these people want to talk to these people, if you are opening this door, the other side also has to open the same door. Then only the data will flow. When you are opening this port number 20, if I open the port number 90, communication will not happen. If the request is sent from port number 20, the receiving end also should receive the port number 20 only. If I am sending anything from the port number 80, the other side also will receive the data on the port number 80 only. Then only they can understand what it is. Right? So if I open the door 1, the other side, whoever is receiving my data, they also should open the door 1 only. If I open the door 3, the other side also should open door 3, then only the communication will happen. Right? So here my door is nothing but port number. On my mission, if some request or operation is going on port number 80, and you want to send this to external system, on the other side also, they will receive the data on port number 80. Did you get my point? So the port from which I am sending, the other end also will receive the data on the same port number. Are you clear? Right. So generally we are using HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, FTP. Now, but if you look at the URL, if you open the web, okay, any URLs if you are opening, did you any time give port numbers? www.satishmala.in/ okay. Now generally I was supposed to give my port number like this. When I am giving my address, it should be like this. Like this I have to mention. But are we mentioning this port number? No, I am giving only this is how I am giving. Why we are not mentioning the port number? Was if you are not mentioning the port number, by default port number will be taken. So every protocol has a default port number. If you don't mention the port number, default port number will be coming. So what are those default port numbers? Let us understand. This is a default. HTTP port number is what? 80. Then we will have FTP 21. They are given with respect to IBM. Now, most of the time, if you try to open your most of you might have seen about your Tomcat, right? The moment you install, what we get 8080. There's a default port number for Tomcat 8080. Now, look at this. By default, there's some port numbers which are given. If you don't mention it, by default, they'll be taking it. FTP port number 21, HTTP 80, HTTPS 443. Then we have SSH 22, SMTP 25. Like this, there is a default port number. Now, if you open any database connection, if you have taken type 4 driver, if you take, what is the format? JDBC, ODBC, :1521 okay, username, password, right? Type 4 driver, if you are taking in JDBC, what we give? 15. This is a default port number. SQL also 3306. Now, if you are working with any database, you might have encountered this. Okay, Oracle 1521, SQL 3306. Probably might have used these two very frequently. Right. Now, what was that? FTP 21, HTTP 80, HTTPS 443, SMTP 25. These are very frequently used. HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SMTP, and we will be having FTP, HTTP, SMTP, HTTPS. These are very frequently used port numbers. Maybe SSH. So what are these called? Default port numbers. Now, if you are not mentioning, by default these port numbers are taken with respect to the protocol what you are taking. So all these are what? Different types of protocols what we have. FTP, HTTP, HTTPS, LDAP, okay, SSL, SNMP. They are different types. But out of all this, what we frequently use? FTP, HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP. Sometimes SSH. Right? I hope you are good. Okay. Now, so by default, your port numbers will be assigned. That is how we are not mentioning the port number. But if apart from the default port number, suppose some other operation is running on default port number. You install some application, you assign a port number as 80. Now, HTTP cannot run on 80. Only one protocol will run on one port number. Suppose you install some application, some third-party application where they asked enter the port number, you mentioned 80. So already 80 is occupied. Then in that case, what should I do? Then what should I do? Then I will be assigning a different port number that I will be mentioning in the URL, because it is not taking a default port number. If you are taking a default port number, I will not mention apart from the default. If you want to take any other, I will mention the port number. I hope you are good with this. So port number is the machine on which the operation is going on. The machine on which the operation is going on. I hope you are good. Right? Okay. Now, primary point is what? HTTP is a hypertext transfer protocol. In that we have a port number. What is the default port number? 80. If you take HTTPS, okay, HTTPS, we have 443. Right, boss? Okay. Next one. We need to understand next one. How these systems are communicating. Whenever we are using a HTTP protocol, this is my target mission, where my source is there. This is the resource I have. Now, this system want to request. This system want to request this resource. How the client will request this resource? Let us say I want to open a Visual Force page. How do you open? Server instance dot apex slash. Am I right? If I want to open a particular record, how do you open? Some record ID. Now what was this? We are, for every resource, there is a URL. For every resource, we have mentioned a path. Resource will be invoked in the HTTP protocol using the URI. The client will request the resource by using URI. For every resource, there will be a path or there will be a name. Using a HTTP protocol, if you want to request any resource, we are supposed to request based on the URI. What is this URI? Uniform Resource Identifier. Anything that is available in the target server, if a client want to request, he will be requesting based on the URI. Uniform Resource Identifier. This identifier will be of two types. One is URL, other one is URL. URI can be of two types, URL or URN. URL or URN. URI will be of two types, URL or URN. URL or URN. Look at the point. When I go to if this is my URI, this can be either my URI can be either URL, URL. My URI can be either URL or URL. Now let us say you want to request, you want to know where I was taking the class. Now I will say Hyderabad, Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, 3rd floor. This is, you are giving URL, address of the resource. Now you are straight away coming to my classroom. Now you want to identify by the name. Now you say, boss, where is the address of this? Where is the address of this? You are saying opposite passport office. Now passport office is the resource name. Now Captain Info Solution. Now you are giving the name of the resource. Now when you come to the Captain Info Solution, they will direct you to my classroom. Now Captain Info Sol, it is a resource name. In the Captain Info Solution, now in the Captain Info Solution, in the 3rd floor, I am taking my class. Now Captain Info Solution is the name of the resource. Somebody will recognize the resource based on the name. Somebody will recognize the resource based on the address. Now let us say you want to purchase books in the online. You want to purchase some novel in the online. How the novels are sold in the online? by ISBN number. Every book will have some ISBN number. Based on that ISBN number, they'll sell it. So here resource is identified based on what? The name. What is the name? ISBN number. Now, if you go to TV channels, the sites, there is a TV9 live : some. Generally, we have HTTP so and so. Or else, if you go with the red bus, first some company name will be coming : so and so. That resource is identified based on the company name. Are you getting my point? Or I want to identify the resource based on the name? Okay, unique name is given. With that name, I can identify the resource. No, you want to recognize the resource based on the URL. So URL is the address, URL is the name of the resource. So every URI, whenever we want to make a request to the resource, whenever I want to request a resource, there are two possibilities. What is that? Either you have to give URL or URL. So this is generally called as URI. When the people say URI, it can be a URL or URN. In some of the documentations you find URI. In some of the documentation directly you find URL. So URI is nothing but URL or URN. Generally we will use URL. Generally what we do? We will use URL. Generally what we do? We will use URL. We will use URL. I hope you are good. Right? So, how do you recognize the resource? How do you recognize the resource? We recognize the resource. We recognize the resource based on URL or URN. Resource is recognized with the help of URI, where URI can be a URL or URN. I hope you are good with this. Right? Okay. If you are going with a URL, what is the format of your URL? Protocol, host name, port number, / your URL is going to be in this format: protocol, host name, port number, path of the resource. So it is going to be HTTPS. Generally, IP address is given. Generally, host name is what? IP address. Based on the IP address, we recognize the server and we request the resource. But if I give IP address, it is difficult for the people to remember the IP address of every application or every site. That is the reason they are given DNS, domain names they have given. So that is how we replaced the IP address with domain name. We replaced IP address with a domain name. AT/ right. So previously we are supposed to actually request the resource based on the IP address of the server. IP address : port number, path of your file. But remembering your IP address is difficult, so they have mapped IP address with a domain name. So we remove that IP address, we are calling the domain name. But actually, if you give the domain name internally, what happened? The domain name will be replaced with the corresponding server IP address through which you have mapped. Right, boss? So now when I give a domain name, easy for the people to recognize or remember. So that's how we are giving HTTP www.satishmaila.in : 8 / path of the file. So what is the protocol we are using? HTTP host name, port number, path / my file / I hope you are good. This is how the URL will be defined. So whenever we want to request the resource based on the URL, it is going to be a protocol, host name, port number, path of the resource. Now, if I am not mentioning the port number, default port number will be taken. As I told you, if it is HTTP, I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? So you got an idea about what is URI, what is URL. So don't be confused. Wherever we are finding a URI, it is also an URL, or it can be a URL. But most of our cases, it is going to be URL. In most of our cases, it is going to be URL. I hope you are good. Let's go to the next one. I hope you are good with this. That's what I mentioned. Hard copies will be given to you. The same copy. Can you call the office boy, boss? Just hard copies are given to you, HTTP. The same copy I'll give you. Thank you. Just give me 1 minute. I'll ask him to give the same copy. Okay. Now, look at the port number. This is what I have given. Protocol, host name, port number, path of the resource. So, protocol, host name, colon, port, path of the file. So, HTTP node system. Right. Now, so look at the next one. We are taking a couple of examples here. Okay. Next, we are starting with the HTTP protocol. Now, what is this HTTP protocol? How the data will be transferred? How the communication happens? Let us see this. Now, if two systems are trying to communicate using HTTP, now these people, they are using HTTP protocol. So what was this? HTTP request. They'll be giving, client will be sending HTTP request to the server. Server will process it, and the server will give you HTTP response. This HTTP request is nothing but a message. It is a request message. And when these people are sending, they will be giving a message. Now, they cannot define the message in whatever the way you want. If you are sending the message in your own style, if I am sending the message in my own style, the third party will not understand what you are trying to ask. Now, when you want to write any letter, we follow a particular format, right? Put the data on the right hand side, put to address on the top, from at the bottom, body, subject, we are following a structure. So that the person who is receiving this, he understands what you are trying to convey. No, you don't want to follow this template, you want to follow whatever the structure you want, then it becomes difficult for the other person to understand what exactly you are trying to convey. Am I right? When everybody follows the same template, easy for the other person to understand what it is. When you send an email to me, looking at the subject, I know whether it's important or not. Right, boss? Similarly, when you are sending a request to the server, or server is giving a response to the client, but they have to follow a particular format. Boss, don't communicate in whatever the way you want. Don't send the message in whatever the way you want. If you are trying to send a message, send the message in a particular format which I am mentioning you. So that I understand so that I understand what you are trying to convey. I know what you are requesting. I know where to find your credentials. I know where is your data. When you are writing a batch of X program, what is there in the start? What will be there in the start method? Right? Whatever the data you want to fetch, that is in the start method. If I want to write any logic, it is in the execute method. If I want to send any email, it is in the finish method. Why? Let anybody write the batch of X, the same structure. So we know where to find a query, where to find the logic, where to find the email. Similarly, when you are sending HTTP request or response messages, you also need to obey the message format of HTTP. How this message format of HTTP will be? The message format of HTTP is going to be in this format. Header part, blank space, this is the body part. So this is how the message is going to be. What is the top one? Header. Now it is not a request, it is a header. I can see header part. This is body part. So every HTTP request will be okay. It will be divided into three sections: header, blank space, body. This space divide header and body. So header, blank space, body. This is the format of message. HTTP message will be in this format. HTTP message will be in the form of header, space, and body. So header is a must. It is required. You cannot leave it blank. Body is optional. You may specify the body, may not specify the body. But every request will have header. Every request will have header. Header is a must. In HTTP request, header is a must. Body is an option. In the HTTP request, header is a must. Body is an option. I hope you are good with this. That's what I am trying to convey here. Header, blank, and body. Okay. Now let us try to understand request message. This is in general request, but this is in general message. But if you take a request message, response message, how the request message is going to be? Your body part. So this is request header, blank line, the first line, this is called request line. The first line is called request line. In the request header, the first line is called request line. This will tell you which protocol you are using, what type of request you are making. Is it a get request, post request, delete request, patch request? What type of request you are making? What is the resource you are looking for? What is the protocol you are using? What is the version of the protocol you are using? The first line will tell you clearly was I am making the get request for the following resource using the following protocol. I am making a post request for the following resource using following protocol. So the first line will tell you clearly what protocol you are using, what resource you are requesting, how are you requesting. Is it a get or a post or a put? What type of request is that? So the first line is called request line. The second line will be post. The second line is generally host name will be there. In the first line only path will be there. Second line will have is going to have host name. Now look at the message. This is the format of my So what is the message? Header, blank line, body. First line is called request line. Remaining are called request headers. Okay. Now, what is there in the request line? Request method. Request method means get or post or put or delete or optionals or trace. What type of request is this? Is it a get request, post request? Is it a get request, post request, delete or put or option or trace? Then request URI. Whatever the resource you are requesting, that resource path will be given. Next, type of protocol, version of protocol. Because we are discussing about HTTP, obviously the protocol will be HTTP protocol. Because we are discussing about HTTP, obviously protocol will be HTTP. Now look at this. What type of method is this? Get request. To what? Test.html resource. Using HTTP protocol 1.1. The next one. What was this? Head request. To the resource of query.html. Protocol HTTP 1.0. Post index.html. What type of protocol? HTTP 1.1. I hope you are good with this. It is saying what method, what is the path of the resource, protocol, version of the protocol. Okay. Let us go to the next one. Second line, what is the second line? Host name. That is a path. The path is in which server? I told I require my file / integration nodes. But in which host? So second line is what? Host. Then it is going to specify remaining parameters. What are these remaining parameters? This will specify properties of your request. Boss, when I am making a request, I am sending you the data in the form of JSON. I am sending you the data in the form of XML. I will accept the data in the form of US English. I will accept the data in the form of JSON. I will accept the only image format. So what is it? The remaining header elements. What are those remaining header elements? They will mention the properties of your request and what type of response you are expecting. The header element specifies what type of request you are sending, what type of response you are expecting. Let us take, I told I will accept only JSON. That means I am making a request to you, your response should come to me in the form of JSON. I will accept only in the form of application XML. I am sending a request to you, I will accept the response only in the form of XML. Boss, send me the response in the form of US English. Send me the response in the form of US English. I will accept the language as only US English. So what was this? These all are properties of the request. Which format you are sending the request, which format you are going to accept. Are you clear? Are you clear? These are what? Properties. Including, if I am making a request, if I want to pass any session ID, authentication data, my credentials, session ID, I'll put it in header part. Till now, anyone has any query on this?
Satish, how
Yes.
do we know the response is come? I want in this format only for the server.
No, see, generally the client, if the entire control is with the service provider, you don't have a choice to choose what you want. Your whatever the provider is offering you, out of that you have to choose. Now the provider told me, boss, I will send the response in the JSON and XML, choose one out of it. I can choose. If the provider is telling, I will provide only JSON, you don't have any other choice. Client has no control on the request. Whatever the provider is giving, as per his guidelines only, we are supposed to make a request. Now, if the provider has made a same service in 3 formats. One he want to give in JSON, one in XML, other one is in text. Now he is telling, boss, I am ready to give you the response in following 3. You choose any one of it. You can have an option. You have an option to choose in the XML or JSON or text. But the provider told, I am going to derive, providing you service in the XML only, you don't have any other choice. In the web services, whoever is the provider, he will give the guidelines. As per the guidelines only, you have to work. You don't have a choice. If you give an option, provider give an option, you can mention it. Now, at the end of the game, response will be the same. Data will be the same. But the way you deserialize the data is different. Are you getting? When I told, send me the customer data, either you send in JSON or text or XML, same data will come. But if it is a JSON, I will deserialize in the JSON format. If it is an XML, deserialize in the form of XML. If it is a text, deserialize like a text. Got my point? Is that was clear? Somebody from online.
Yes, Satish.
Now, so this is the sample request what they have given. When they are giving the sample request, what was the first one? Request line. What is the get type of method? Doc/test.html. It is a path of the resource. What is the protocol they are using? HTTP version 1.1. Who is the host? test101.com. Accept. I am ready to accept only image format of response. Accept language. I am ready to accept in the form of. When do I mention this? When he is giving the option of multiple choice to you, then I can opt it. Otherwise, no need to mention. Are you clear? Accept encoding, content length. Then he is giving body. I hope you are good with this. Let us take some. I hope everybody has followed these formats. Clear for everyone? Everyone has followed this? Any query from your end? Let us see some more sample. Just trying to find out some request messages. Understand. Now, what is the method? Get URL index.html. Then protocol HTTP. Then in the header, who is the host? Example.com. User agent, he is going to accept the response in the form of text and HTML. Language, accept character set, connection. Then this is the body part of the request. This is the body part of the request. Okay. Let us take one more. I hope now by looking at the request you can tell what it is, right? Why you are not getting any request templates? Now, method is get, URL is /demo, the resource, protocol is HTTP, version is 1.1, host example.com, connection, WebSocket. They have given couple of header elements. Right. I hope you are clear with that. You are clear with that format? Right. Let us go to the next example. We want to understand next format. What is the format of your response? Next, we'll try to understand format of your response. In what format you are going to get a response? I hope everybody is good with this structure. Request message is going to have request header message, blank line, request body message. Request header, request body. First line is called request line. What is the syntax of the request line? Method, resource path, protocol, version of the protocol. Protocol, version of the protocol. Now let us get into the second one. What is the second one? Response message. Now what is the response message? Response message. Look at the response message. Now look at the format here. Response message header, response message header, response message body, response message header, response message body, response message header, response message body, response message header, response message body. So we have header, we have body, the blank line. But in the response, first line is called status line. First line is called status line. In the response, first line is called status line. First line is called status line. Now what this status line will tell? It will tell you whether the operation is successful, failure. What is the, okay, whether operation is successful or failure. Look at the point. HTTP, version number, status, status code, status reason. Now generally we get 404, okay, 404, 500, 200, this type of codes we get. The meaning of the codes. Look at this. First line is called as status line. In the header, first line is called status line and the remaining part is called header, blank line, body. Now, how the status line is defined? Status line is going to specify version of the HTTP, status code. Your status code is generally going to be 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, 5xx. 1, 101, 102, 103, 1xx. Anything that starts with 1, request is received, it is still processing. Anything that goes with the 2xx, 200, 201, 202, 203, that is request is successful, request is received, operation is successful. 3xx, okay, it is requesting some proxies. That means it is you requested to me, I was supposed to make a request to some other server to get the response. It is expecting a proxy gateways. 4xx, there is a problem in the way you are calling. There is a problem from the request. There is a problem with the request. There is a URL is not available. The resource is not available, or the path is now the method is not supported for this. Any problem from the client side. The way you wrote the program is the mistake. The way you wrote the program, okay, there is a mistake in it. 4xx, 5xx, everything is perfect from your end. There is a problem with the service product. There is a problem with the service product. So it is a 5xx. 1xx is for what? Request received, processing. 2xx is what? Received, operation is successful. 3xx is, okay, proxy gateways. Redirection to proxy gateways. 4xx, issue with the client side request. 5xx, issue with the server side response. I hope you are good. Right. So any one of the code will be given, 3-digit code. And for every code, there will be a message associated for code. Now look at this. HTTP 1.1. HTTP protocol 1.1 is the version. 200. What is the 200? Operation is successful. OK is the message. For 200, equivalent message is OK. Now, HTTP 1.0, message status code what we received is 404. 404 means the resource what you requested is not 4. HTTP 1.1, 403, forbidden. Service is forbidden. Now, then they are going to say header. When I am giving a response, I am telling you, boss, I am sending you a response in the form of JSON. I am sending you a response in the form of text. I am sending you a response in the form of US English. I am sending you the response with the encoding format of XYZ. So it will define the properties of the response what I am giving. Are you clear about this? Right? So overall, how it is going to be? When you are sending, now this line is called and this is HTTP. You are getting a response. So this is how we are. So what was that? HTTP. Status. So this is how we are getting the point here. So this is the overall request. Client is sending a request in the form of HTTP request message, where this is the header part, blank line, body part. Now server is giving a response in the form of HTTP response message. First line is status line, header, blank space, body, and always body is. Now when you are making a request, you are saying what type of response you are accepting, what type of language you are going to accept. Now when I am sending, I am going to send you what type of content I am sending. Right, boss? Client, request, response, server. I hope you are good. Right, boss? Okay. So this is the basic format of understanding HTTP request and response format. Generalized theoretical information about what is a URL, what is a protocol, how the request will be, how the response will be. Look at the response line. HTTP 1.1 protocol version 200 is the status code. OK is the message. Then we have the other information in the header, body. Right, Amma? I hope everybody has got basic information about the HTTP protocol. Right? Okay. Now,
Satish, how many methods will be there in the request line? How many types?
We are going to discuss the same. Right. Now, look at the point. How do we implement this? We have seen generalized structure of the HTTP. How do you implement this? If you want to implement this, we are supposed to understand 3 different classes which are given by the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, to handle the HTTP requests and responses, we got 3 different Apex classes. What are those Apex classes? HTTP class, HTTP request, HTTP response. With the help of these 3 Apex classes, we will be handling HTTP requests and responses. In the Apex programming, we have 3 different Apex classes which are given. With the help of these 3 classes, we are going to handle the request and response. First, let us understand what are the classes, what are the methods which are available. Let us understand what are the classes, what are the methods we have. First class is HTTP. First class is HTTP class. This has only 2 methods. Send there is only 2 methods. Send, to string. What is the send method will do? Send request send HTTP request message and get HTTP response message. Send will be sending HTTP request message and we will be getting HTTP response message. Send, it will send the HTTP request and we are going to get HTTP response. Send method will be sending a request and we will be getting a response. It is like this one. HTTP response, send HTTP request. HTTP response, send HTTP request. Now, if you send a request message, it is going to give you response. Send a request message, it is going to give you response. I hope you are good with this. Next, to string. This will convert request into string format. This will convert request into string format. This will convert request into string format. Next we have HTTP request. Next we have HTTP request. What is this HTTP request? It is one of the predefined Apex class. This is one of the predefined Apex class which is used to create a request object. HTTP request. It is one of the predefined Apex class which is used to create a request object. Which is used to create a request object. Now let us understand the methods what we have here. Whenever we want to make a request, we need to understand which resource we are requesting, what type of request, which resource we are requesting, what type of request is that, what are the header elements, we are requesting, which resource we are requesting, what type of request, what are the header elements we are requesting. These are the three parameters which we need to understand. Look at the point. HTTP request equal to, then first one, set endpoint. Set endpoint means, tell me the URL to which you are making a request. I was supposed to give the URL of the resource. Set endpoint, the URL of the resource. Set endpoint, it is going to specify the URL of the resource. Set endpoint, it is going to specify the URL of the resource. Set endpoint, it will specify the URL of the resource. This will specify the URL of the resource. Set endpoint, to which resource you are making a request. URL of the resource to which you are making a request. Then we have set method. What type of request is this? 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 Now look at the point. We have get, post, put, head. We have other things, but generally we go with get, post, put, head, delete. Look at this. Delete, get, head, post, put, trace. Now what is the purpose of each and every one? Let me give you. Let me give the purpose of each and every one. What type of request is this? Now, in the server, there is a file. Now, client want the file which is already there in the server. Client want the file which is already there in the server. We call it as get. Requesting the file which is defined in the server. Resource is available in the server. We are requesting. Get me the details of account whose ID is 001. Get me the account whose name is Ginny Point. Now we are requesting the data from the server. If you want any resource from the server, we say it as get. Now I want to insert the data. Now my request is I want to insert the data. Client want to send. The client want to send any data. When the client want to send the data, when a client want to send any data, now what was this? It is a post method. Now we are putting the data, we are posting the data to the server. If you want to post the data to the server, it is a post method. You are inserting the data into the server. If you want to insert the data into the server, you want to create a resource in the server, it is a post. Then put means what? You want to replace the content. You want to replace the content in the server. 1, 2, 3, 4 I was modifying as I want to replace. If you want to replace the content in the server, already the resource is available. You want to modify the content in the server, then we go with put. But generally what I do, always I prefer to use post. We generally don't use put much. We'll use post only for replacing the content also. But practically speaking, theoretically speaking, if you want to replace any content in the server, we go for put. But practically we go with the post only. Now I want to delete the resource. Whatever the resource is there, I want to delete this resource. Then I'll go for no, I don't want the response. I want to know the properties of the response. I don't want the response. I don't want the response. I want the properties of the response. Properties, what type of response he is sending? What is the length of the file? I want only the properties. Then I will go for what? If you want only head of the response, you want only header part of the response. You don't want the body part of the response. You want only header part of the response. Then I will go for head. So generally, get, put, post, delete, head. Trace the connection. Trace the options which are available in connection. Now look at this. That's what I have mentioned here. Get method is used to retrieve information from the given server. Head, same as get, but only gives a status line. The top status line and header information will be given. When you request the resource, response header, response body will come. I don't want response body. I want only response header. Then I'll use head. When you say get, make a request to server, we get the response header, response body. But I don't want response body. I want only response header. Then I'll go for head. Post, you want to put any data on the server, post. Put, you want to replace any content on the server, put. You want to delete any content, delete. Now, right, just to test your connection. Trace is to just connect, okay, test your connection. Right. Now, this is in general, we also have connected options, general HTTP, but in the Salesforce only 6 are supported. General one is 8. Get, head, post, put, delete, trace, connect option. The Salesforce we have only 6. Is that was clear? Get is for what? Requesting the data from server. Post is putting the data into server. Put is replacing the content on the server. Delete is delete the content from the server. Head is get the response header. Trace, it is only test connection. Right. Now look at the point. I hope you got it. But there are few things which we need to understand apart from this. What are the few things? Look at the point. If it is a get method, if you say method is a get, your request will contain only header part. There will be no body part here. If the request is get, you are trying to request the data from the server, so there will be only header, no body. In the HTTP request, what will be there? Only header part will be there. There will be no body. If it is a get method, HTTP request message generally, every message will be in the form of header, space, body. This is the format. Body. But when you say get, only header part will be there. Then I told, when you say head also, head also only header part will be there. In the HTTP request, whatever the request you are making, in that request only what will be there? Header part will be there. There is no body in the request. But when you go to delete also, then if you want to send any data, how will you send? There is no body. Generally what we do, we put the data in the body and send. But in the get method, in the head method, in the head method, in the delete method, there is no body. Then if I want to send any data, how will you send? You will send the data in the URL. The URL question mark. So any data you want to send, that should be sent in the form of URL. When you are sending the data in the form of URL, there is a limit for the length of the URL. You cannot send as much data as you want. Now, whenever we are using a HTTP request of type method type get, there is no body, only header will be there. If you want to send any data, data has to be sent in the URL. If you want to go for a head, there is no body. Whatever the data you want to send, the data will be sent in the URL. If you want to delete, there is no body. Whatever the data you want to send, the data will be in URL. I hope you are good with this. People are good with this. Clear for everyone? Right, boss? Okay. When you go to the next post method, put method, they will have header and body. Any data you want to send, the data will be sent in the body. Right. This is the major difference you need to understand. Boss, if you are sending any request, any HTTP request with the method type get, there is no body. Head, there is no body. Delete, there is no body. When there is no body, if you want to send any data, then you are supposed to send in the URL. If you go for a post or a put, there will be a header and a body. Any data you want to send, put them in the body and send it. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Clear? Okay. So this is the story about second method. What is the second method? Set method. Okay. Set method. Then set body. Now whatever the data you want to send, that will be sending in the body. How are we going to send the body? Now name equal to Satish. No, you want to send it as a JSON? No, I want to send as XML. Now, what you want to send? If you look at this, you send a text message, send a JSON, send a XML, but everything should be converted in the form of string. Am I right? In all the three cases, I am making as what? String. So, body of the HTTP request should be in the form of string. If you are setting anything in the body, it has to be in the form of string. Now, the body can be a XML, the body can be a JSON, the body can be a param equal to value, anything of your choice. Depends upon service provider. I hope you are good with this. So, what we have? Set endpoint, set method, set body. Similarly, we will say get endpoint. When you say get endpoint, what it does? Whatever the endpoint you have given, we can get that URL. Get method, whatever the method name you gave, we can get it. Get body, whatever the body we set, we can read it. Every set method will have get. These get methods are used in testing, Amma. Here we don't use it. While testing the service, we will use the get methods. So set endpoint, set a method, set a body. The next one. Set body, set a body as blob. Suppose you want to encrypt the data and send it. You have some username, password, you want to encrypt and send it. Then what I will do? Convert the data in the form of binary, send it. If you want to send the data in the form of binary, set the body as blob. Set the body as blob. Set the body as blob. No, I want to send it in the form of DOM document, XML string format, then set the body document. Now you want to send a certificate as authentication, set a client certificate, set a client certificate name. Boss, I am sending a large set of data, I want to compress and send it, set a compressed. Are you getting my point here? So what are the methods we have? Body, set, client, set the certificate, client certificate name. Then we have any attributes you want to send. Let us say you are sending a request. Those people, you are sending a JSON. The person also need to understand what format of request you have sent. Set now what was that? Request dot set authorization. So any header elements you want to pass, like this will be setting. Set header. Right? Header elements. You want to set the timeout. It is in milliseconds. Right. Set timeout. So overall, tell me what are the methods we are going to have? Set endpoint, set method, set body, set header, These are the main methods. Set body block, I hope you're good. These are the major methods. Now let us do some example. Now make HTTP request. Now create a request. In the get method, if the method is get, how do you pass the data? Data you have to pass it in the URL. So look at the point. String URL equal to question mark, name equal to Satish, and age equal to 34. Why did I give? Because it is a get method. If it is a get method, there will be no body. If you want to pass any data, you have to pass it using URL only. Request dot set endpoint. Because it's a get method, any data you want to pass, it should be in the URL only. Start building this. for creating these 4 requests. So how did you write this? HTTP request that is post method. If it is a post method, we are going to have body. So any data you want to send, you can set it in the body part. Request dot set method. Then we are going to create string body equal to weekend ampersand request dot set body. So whatever the data we have, we are setting the data in the body. Next one we have set header. This is the request what I created. Because it is a post method, I kept everything in the body. Now do the next example. Everyone has followed this, right, boss? Do the next example. Do the next one. Make it fast, boss. Now, let us see how you make it. Again, this method is what? Get method. It is a get method. How do you send the data? If it is a get method, in the URL we have to send the data. Question mark, type equal to weekend. Point request dot set method request dot set right. Next one here, method is post, but I told content type equal to application JSON. If I say content type equal to application JSON, data should be sent in the form of JSON. Data should be sent in the form of JSON. Then string body equal to how the JSON is going to be floor bracket. Right. This over here. It is not attribute equal to value. It is in the form of key value in the JSON. Then say request dot set header content type is the was clear. Similarly, next one I gave XML. So you have to convert in the form of XML. So this is the way in which we create a request message. This is the way in which we create a request message. Then we are supposed to create responses. Then we are supposed to create response. So how do you create a response? Is that was clear? This is to create a request message. Generally, main parameters are endpoint, method, body, header. Main parameters are header, endpoint, header, method, body. I hope everybody has followed this. Clear? Okay. Now the question is, how do you handle the response? How do you handle the response? If you want to handle the response, we have to create a response object. So look at the point. Just equal to then I'm giving p equal to response equal to p dot send. If we send a request object, they are going to give you a response object. If we give a request object, we are going to get to response object. If they are going to give a request object, we are going to get a response object. Right, boss? Now, once you got the response, what we are supposed to do? String body equal to it gives you body of the response. If you want to go to the code, get a status code, get status. Primarily, send a request, we are going to get a response, get the body of the response. I hope everyone has followed this. Right, boss? Let us demonstrate one quick example to handle this. Let us demonstrate one quick example. So I will go with hard copies are given, right? Receive the hard copies? No. Just now you received a copy. What copy you have given? What is the copy you received? Now, what is the copy you distributed? XML, HTTP only, no? Right. Only half people have received. Okay. Let us see how to first I will go with the JSON format of response so that it's easy for you to track it. Everyone listen here.
Satish, where can we have that material for the online
They'll
book?
be sharing in the drive, boss. The same material will be given to you in the drive. So first let us see what is the request we are making. In point data, what you are expecting. Method, response they are expecting in the JSON format. This is the endpoint URL. This is the data I have to pass. This is the data I have to pass. Method is get, response is JSON. Look at the format. Response body public. Now I'm giving string URL equal to, I'm giving a pin code, or else I can ask you to enter the pin code number. Then create a request. Set method. Request dot set method. Set method. Endpoint set method. And what else we are requesting? HTTP response. Now this is the URL to which I am making a request. What type of method is this? Get method. Then we are going to get a response. Then I told body equal to response dot get body. First let us see what type of response we are getting. Then I will reserialize it. Then go back to the VF page. controller. Apex input text value equal to command line just I'm creating a basic operation. Action equal to what is the method I gave? Then id equal to this is how I created. Now, whenever we want to make a request to third-party system, it is a must that we have to register the URL as a remote site setting. Only those URLs which are registered with the remote site settings, they can be interact with the Salesforce. So go to the administrator, security controllers, remote site settings. This is how I created. So go back here. What happened here? The response came in the form of JSON. Look at this. Response is in the form of JSON. Now on this, what is the data you want to take? What is the data you want to take? I want to take all the names. Now what is the format here? Name, description, sub-post office, delivery status, taluk, circle, district, division, like that they are giving. I want to get only the names. The pin code, okay, what are the cities, what are the places which will be covered under this? What are the places which are covered under this? What are the places which are covered under this pin code? I want to get it. Now response is in the form of what? JSON. But in the JSON, what you want to get? Only name of the places. So you are supposed to deserialize. You made a request to them, they gave a response. Once you got the response, with the help of response, what you want to do is your headache. You made a request to third party gave you a response. Now with that response, what you want to do is your business requirement. Now my requirement is get all the place names, display like a list. So how do I get a place names? Deserialize. Why deserialize? Response is in the form of JSON. So let us see. How do you deserialize it? Now, do you know which format we are going to get? Do you know which format? Do you have the corresponding format of class? No. I don't want to take entire data. I don't know what is the complete format I am going to get. So, I will just go with JSON parser. While JP dot next token not equal to if JP dot get text equal to the current token is name, then places dot add. If the current token is name, what is the value? Value in. If the current token is name, where is the value? Value will be in the next position. If the current token is name, look at this boss. Name. Now what is, if the current token is name, how do I get value? Move the cursor to next position. Right? If I move the cursor to next position, we get the value. So jp dot. Right. Here I was supposed to give. Now I will make it here. Redundant. This is what I get. Look at this. Now I was getting this data. If I give the pin code number, based on the pin code number, I am getting the corresponding places which are covered under the pin code number. I am displaying it. Now I am displaying it. You may insert this data into one table. It is your choice. Once you got the response, as per your requirement, you will be behaving. My requirement is get the places and display. If your requirement is get this data, upload to any one of the record, update it. Right? So what is the point here? How do you make a HTTP request to third party, get the data? That is the question here. So how did you make a request? How did you make a request? Till here is the web service call. Then after getting this, what you do is your choice. Till here is the web service call. Till here is the web service call. This is your requirement. According to your requirement, you are deserializing it. Now, what is the web service call? Request, set endpoint, set method, send the request, get the body. Are you clear about this? Have you followed this? Have you followed? Request object, endpoint, method, send a request, get the response. Now the response is in the form of JSON, deserialize and take whatever you want. Is that was clear for everyone? Am I clear? Respond, boss. Right. Very horrible people. Right. Respond. Is that was clear for everyone? Right? Clear? Boss, I don't know face reading, boss.
Yes.
If you speak, if you open and speak, then only I know whether you followed or not. Right. Sure? Done? Right. Okay. Boss, I'm doing night shift and coming here. I have energy to take the class. You don't have energy to respond also. Right. Okay. Now, let us go back to the next. My next requirement is, I'm making a request to third-party system. But we have seen one request where my response is coming in the form of JSON. Now I want to make a request. I want to get the response in the form of XML. I want to get the response in the form of XML. So let us see this. How to make a request and get the response in the form of XML. I hope this is good. Let us make the next request. The next request what I have is, according to your document, I gave this. You trace. Okay. Let us take this request. Here the endpoint URL. Response is coming in the form of XML. So let us look at this example. I'm asking you to enter the IP address. What is the response we are getting? First of all, string URL. This is the URL which they have given. IP address. How do you make? Then URL method. First, let us make it very simple. Look at the code. Anyone has any query on this code? Anyone has any query on this code? Endpoint URL, method is get, send a request, getting the response, right? But what is the primary point? Whenever we want to make a request to any third-party system, first we are supposed to register that URL with the remote site setting. Go back to the remote site setting. Only host name will be taken, not entire path. Host name will be taken. So the same story. IP address. Right now I don't get this. So I'm making a request here. If I give an IP address, this is going to give me corresponding response, but I need to give my IP address of my system. Somebody parallelly logged in. my IP address. I submitted the request. There is some bug here. What was the bug? Only body. You trace. It doesn't make a difference actually. Still old code only. Let me do this. Check out what is the bug here. It's not re-rendering, I guess. Re-render 1. We got the response. There is no issue with the response. Then where is the bug here? Body equal to response dot get body. Body is thing get. Trying to display body. Call me re-render 1. Let me print the body also here. We are receiving the body, right? There is no mistake from here. Mistake from somewhere. Command button, submit, action equal to call me, review. For some reason, it is not getting refreshed here. Send request response body. We are getting the code on the Apex class, but page somehow. Trace response body. Just now I modified it. Have a preview. We are getting the response in the form of what? XML. Now, when you're getting the response in the form of XML, what you are supposed to do? Deserialize this response and use it. How do you deserialize? Previous example, I got the response in the form of JSON. Now we are getting the response in the form of XML. Can people deserialize this data? This is a response what I received. This is the response what I received. We are supposed to deserialize this response and use it. So what I can do, can you make an attempt of deserializing this? Can you try from your end how to deserialize? Can you try or not? Right. Just give the structure, you can try it. DOM dot document dot. Then we are supposed to take, what is the first element we received? Results, result. Get the root element. DOM dot XML node. Root dot get child element. Then we are going to get list of DOM dot take a loop. Then result map dot put c dot get name. What is the value? What are the two functions we used to use? Get text and this is how we got done. Then display the data. How you display the map? A will be a key. Result map of A will be a value. Okay. Go back, give the IP address. This is what we got. Country code India, host, IP address, ISP. Whatever the data we received in the form of XML, I deserialized, I got the data. Right, boss? So, what is our code? Making a request, getting the response is our code. Once you get the response, what you want to do is your choice. Now, I want to put in the map, I have written this code. You want to do XYZ operation, you have to do it. Once you got the response, your web service is making a request, getting a response. Once you got the response, what you are supposed to do is according to your business requirement. My requirement is to put in a map and display. I have done like this. Your requirement is to insert a record. You have to perform accordingly. Right? I hope you are good with this. So when you are making a request, we are getting a response in the form of XML and JSON. Now this example, we made a request to this third-party system where they have given me places under the pin code number. Now I made a request to this URL. According to my IP address, they told who is my internet service provider, at what location I am located, in which state I am located, my IP address, my location, my internet service provider name, my longitude, latitude. This is the data they are giving. This is a third-party system. Now, what is the web service called? Request dot set endpoint, request dot set method, send a request, get the response. Only these 4 lines of code is your. This is your web service code. Rest is according to your business requirement. You are doing whatever you want. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now at this point of time, are we giving any security, any authentication? It is open for everyone. I have not given any credentials for proving myself. It is open for everyone. They are open URL. Tomorrow we will see how to make a secured request. Now, how do you authenticate yourself, prove yourself and make a request? Tomorrow we will see how to send SMS services. Now in the Salesforce, we don't have built-in SMS service. But here I want to create a SMS service. How to create a SMS service and how to make a request from a trigger and batchbox, we'll see tomorrow. I hope you are good with this. One minute.